What's up, Sooner Surge, Surgeaholics? It's Monday. Welcome to Sooner Surge, Double Trouble. As Monty says from SEC country, Boomer, that's Monty's calling card every night. Monty says hit a like for us. I appreciate that, Monty. Appreciate that. Yeah, it won't take you long. Hit the like button. It helps us out more than you know. And appreciate the community of the Surgeaholics on here every single night. Doesn't matter if it's spring, winter, fall, or summer. You guys bring it every night, as do we here at the Sooner Surge. Sooner women, tough defeat today. Tough defeat.
Very tough. They cannot get out of that second game. I mean, and they've been the 4 or 5 seed. That's been part of the problem. Been the 4 or 5 seed. Seems like every single year. And it's because this year, because early on they just didn't play well non-conference. And then again, ousted in the Big 12 tournament. You would have liked to have seen them get past Indiana. Inevitably, it was South Carolina next, but tough loss today, Indiana. Very tough.
Hey, and let's get right to this on spring. Obviously, some media had access today for 90 minutes of practice. There were some player interviews after. I saw John Hoover put a little article out. But listen, I see Sooner fans comment here. First, I'm going to say this. We don't know who the ones are officially. So the depth chart hasn't been released. You can go based on what was said and things like that. And it's fun to talk about. But I mean, other names that were mentioned besides the guys that Sooner fan mentioned was Ashton Sanders, even Marcus Strong. I think George Stoya referenced him. I mean, a lot of guys are going to get opportunities right now. That's what spring ball's for.
Hey, I don't see how they're going to keep David Stone off the field, even as a starter. I think he's that good.
Jay, it sounds like he causes havoc. Even in the spring, he's causing havoc.
Well, yeah, he's 5-star dude.
Mez, add Stone. You got Strong, Stone, Sears, Sanders. All S's.
Sooners.
SOS for the other team, maybe.
Yeah, Jay said Stone day one, said it a year ago.
Jay did say that. I'll admit it. Someone said something about Farouk starting on kickoffs. Well, that wouldn't be surprising. He did last year. Although John Hoover talked about Dion Burks looks really electric. That's not a surprise. And that Farouk was playing on the perimeter, Jay, on the outside. Not in the slot.
Hey, I'll be disappointed. I will be if Farouk's running kicks back. And the reason I say that, not that he can't be good at that.
Pettaway needs to be.
My thing is, surely you got some guys that could be their role that are really electric, right?
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like Pettaway's looking really good. I mean, get some of these other guys on the field if they're not playing every day.
Lost you there, Jay. Boom Time says, sounds like Dejon Terry's high on the freshman. A lot of people are high on the freshman. And Chester, I'm not saying I listen to everything John Hoover says or what his fandom is. I'm just saying I read an article. He was at practice. That's all I'm saying. Cooper has not hit the portal. Otego Away did. Otego Away.
Yeah. And Jackson's right. Everyone looks good in the spring, do they not?
No, that's not true.
Oh, that's what comes out of practice usually.
That may be what comes out of people's mouths, but if it's a three-man line, you got to have an edge there, Jay Jones.
What about PJ?
Yes, that would be an option. I think it's an edge guy. Hunter, am I the only one, or is it me, or is Jay lagging? I thought he was lagging. Maybe it's just me, Hunter. Ford was great last spring. Yep, I agree. They said he was. We know what happened. Sooner fan. he's going to play a 3-man line if that's what he can do. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. Okay, yeah, Jay, you are lagging. And Chester, you're right. Until Red River, it seems like they play around with a lot. Ron, John Hoover and Bob Stoops did a little more than bump heads, okay? They didn't like each other from what I saw. I could be wrong, but that's the way it sounded and looked. Mez says David Stone and Jaden Jackson will be tough to beat out on a 2-man defensive line rotation post-fall camp. Now, here's Mez. Yes, agreed. Stone and Jackson are both going to demand playing time. And I don't mean demand playing time because they're prima donnas and they want to play and they're going to go to the coaches and say that they better play or else. I'm saying they're going to demand playing time because their game is going to demand playing time. Bobby says 335. Sooner Legends, welcome back on the chat. Appreciate you being on here. 405 boy. I don't love a 3-man front if you don't have to do it.
I like it a lot. I prefer it.
You got to have the guys.
I prefer it if you have the guys, but you got to have the guys. That's the thing.
You're back, Jay. Welcome.
I'm back. Back at it. Can you hear me?
Sure can, Jay.
Good. Good.
You see on the graphic, viewers, there's 4 running backs on the graphic. One thing that was noted is Javonte Barnes was running right behind Sawchuk, along with Hicks as well. You got Franklin. I think those 4 are the guys. I don't foresee any freshmen getting run at running back. Just my opinion. And Javonte Barnes spoke to an interview afterwards.
And it sounds like he wasn't fully healthy, which is not a shock. We all kind of thought that's probably what the case
was. Jay. Sounds like he wasn't fully healthy. We know he wasn't fully healthy.
I agree, Damon. I agree, Danny O. I agree with that. Mike is 50-50 on a 3-man line. Listen, I think if you have the guys do it, 3-man line, it works if you have the guys. Go look at teams that have done it. Teams that have won national championships, they do it. Now, you don't do it every stinking series, but you do it majority if you have the guys to do it. That's what I'm talking about. 3-man line. Yeah, I like Brent's style, multiple D. You got to play multiple.
I like multiple defense. Multiple defense. That is correct.
And Jay, the 5-2 worked. That's what I'm saying is that you got to go with the times and whatever. Right now, against some of these offenses, 3-man down lineman's great if you can get to the quarterback that way and bring pressure. I mean,
correct.
Hey,
still
Cracker Mac.
Still some guys who aren't playing.
Cracker Mac, I understand what you're saying, but Alabama and Georgia are in the SEC and they run it.
Correct.
So.
Gary Wolford. Jay,
hey, wait a second. Wait a second. I really do think people get confused with 3-man line. They think we're bringing that OU would bring 3 guys. That's not what it is. It's 3 down linemen. You might be bringing 5 or 6 guys.
Correct.
So,
and it's a combo of what they want to do there, Jay.
And maybe Brent Venables thinks I got multiple guys that I can move around, and it could be better out of a 3 down lineman. I mean, I don't know.
They're not rushing 3, dropping 8. Okay, I promise you
it's
that.
Not Iowa State. It's not Iowa State.
It's Iowa State. And the other thing is, I know Ron says some of the time when freshmen start, it can be a sign of weakness. Well, yeah, there's 2 sides to every coin here. There's 2 sides. I want 8 guys coming in on defensive line and edge. I want plenty of secondary. I was looking at the roster again, Jay. This defense is loaded if the guys are going to pan out like we think they are. They're loaded. You cannot go a season and not play the 2 deep multiple possessions. You got to rotate the 2 deep, maybe even 3. That's the thing I'm going to get fired up about the most, and I'm going to lay it to Brent Venables if he trots the same people out there possession after possession. You cannot do that now.
Yeah. Hey, what about this trivia? What was it last season? All of OU starting running back stayed healthy all season. Man, you'd have to go back. I want to say I may miss a year, but I think it was before AD.
Kennedy Brooks was healthy a lot.
No, he was out, but multiple backs. They didn't just play Kennedy Brooks.
Correct.
Rodney Anderson got injured when he is. I mean, it's been a while, I think.
Running backs get banged up a lot. Steve, hey, you guys heard it here first. Steve Stutzman, they're gonna rush 1, drop 10. I sense the sarcasm. Yes, guys.
Hey, Jeremy, if it works, I'm all for it.
Jay, hey, 3 down linemen does not mean bringing 3 at the quarterback and dropping 8. Okay, there's so many different things they can do, and I think that's what Venables and Zach Alley and company will do. Is they're going to bring multiple looks. That's what you have to do to really beat the best. And OU's got the dudes. They got the experience. Keaton says OU has the most experience in the SEC. That's not false. It's a fact. It's the most experience, and they got the dudes they wanted to be trotting in the SEC country with. Okay, led by Danny.
And here's the deal.
He's the face of the defense.
Hey,
and the program.
I think probably Brent Venables, if you were able to talk to him one-on-one, truth serum, he probably wishes he could have been more multiple in the first 2 years. I think he's now got a more maybe experienced squad. He's got more talent as the youngsters coming up. I think he feels like he can maybe do a little bit more. And maybe, who knows? I mean, Zach Alley, we all know that he does like the multiple. He does like to rotate, whatever. So I think there is some things that will be different this year on the defense as far as schemes. I think as far as maybe how many do they do rush, if they bring pressure more often. I think there's a lot to look forward to this year on defense. I mean, you got guys. Listen, we've all heard about Brent Venables' defense, how complex it is. But now you guys have got guys that have been in it for 3 years now. I mean, how scary is that? That's scary. That's pretty scary.
Agree, Jane. Gary, I agree with you, except there needs to be more than 11. You got to play the competitive depth. You have to play it. You got to rotate some guys in at edge, secondary. Sooner Legend asked, does Kennick turn it around? I think Kennick has a better season, yes. But I got to get to Eric's comment here. I agree. Eric, I don't think anyone sitting here assumes that all the freshmen are going to be out of this world their freshman year. I will say, I think David Stone absolutely is going to get on the field, and Jaden Jackson as well, probably. Now, are they going to be all freshman class? We'll see. But, Eric, you're right that some people have buzz. Some people have a learning experience. Some are going to be average, and some are going to be elite. Some are going to get hurt. Some will stay on the bench. Agreed. No one's saying that won't happen.
Yeah, good point, Steve. I mean, anytime you get somebody that's been doing it now for a few years, they kind of know what they're dealing with. They kind of got the feel of it. And we all talked about Brent Venables was never a head coach. Now he's in his 3rd year. And I agree. I think kind of got an idea of what you got talent-wise. They've had really good recruit. I mean, you cannot deny facts. Facts are experience came back. Facts are really good players came back. Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Woody Washington, all came. DeJohn Terry, all back. Facts are really high recruiting class in the defensive line. Fact. Put that all together, should be a really good defensive year, I think.
Yeah, question here. Will Stutzman, viewer says, will Stutzman be as successful in the SEC as he was in the Big 12? Is he that dude? Well, Steve Stutzman says he's that dude. And listen, here's what you got to think about Danny Stutzman.
Hey, if he didn't get injured.
Wait,
if he didn't get
Jay,
injured
just a second, Jay. Yeah, if he didn't get injured last year, it'd been unreal. But listen, does he have the size? The answer is yes. Does he have the experience? The answer is yes. Does he have the speed? Yes, he's shown it. And does he have intimidation? Is he going to fear walking into SEC country? We all know the answer. He's not going to fear it. He's going to embrace it.
Yeah. Mess says Stone can play. I think he's saying strong defensive end. He has the speed. Hey, Mike, you mentioned Vickers. Vickers last year, I think, was off to a pretty dang good start. I just think he got a little banged up, and Didn't see a whole lot of him in the second half of the season, but he was off to a really good start for a freshman. Hey, Eric, I don't understand what you're saying. He doesn't have the D line to keep him clean, so no. I think the D line's better this year, Eric. So I'm kind of confused on what you're saying. Do you not think the D line's going to be better this year? Because I do. But yeah, Stutz has the cojones, that's for sure. Okie Long Guy every night. Are you guys live? We are live every night, 9:30. Jeremy took a disappearing act on us. Eric, let's see. Hey, there's Trap House. Welcome, Trap House. Hey, Eric, I got a question. You say the D line's not going to be very good. What do you say? Are you saying it's not going to be as good as last year? And if so, explain to me your reasoning. That's all I want is explain to me your reasoning why it's not going to be better.
Jay,
who did they lose? Who did they lose on D line that you're like, man, that just
I guess he's saying Jonathan Laulu and Isaiah Kobe. The defensive line should be better across the board. Jay, should be better. That's not some kind of thing I'm concocting in my head. Too small and inexperienced is what Eric says.
Inexperience isn't always bad.
No, they lost Lacey.
Lacey hurts. I agree. Lacey hurts.
Look, Jonathan Lulu wasn't horrible. Look,
he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
Yeah, he wasn't horrible. He was good, but they're going to be as good as last year. Better across the board.
Colin says Jackson Arnold talking with the media. He says being the backup sucks and is embracing this being his team and being a leader. Says he focused this winter on being a more vocal leader. Yes, I think that's huge. I think he has to be. He has to be on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you all know who the leaders are on the defensive side of the ball. We don't have to talk about it. Offensively, though, with DG and Drake Stoops, they were your leaders, right? So who's that going to be this year? I look for it in a few guys. I look for it in a guy like Jackson Arnold. I know he's young, but I also think Sawchuk can be a big-time leader for this team. And then, maybe throw in maybe one of the receivers. I mean, Farouk's been around, guys. I know, Jeremy, I know your opinion on Farouk, but he's been around for a while. And maybe he takes leadership.
Jay, I agree that Farouk's been around and can be a leader. I think he should be a backup, and he can get in there and play, Jay. Yeah. Ethan Downs should be really, really good on the line.
Yeah.
Ethan Downs should take the next step. Yeah, Ricky, I
think Downs will have a great year.
Several guys working on the O-line like we thought.
You're starting to hear Heath's name quite a bit more from more people. You know what I mean?
And Jake Taylor on the tackle.
Exciting.
Jake Taylor or Spencer Brown on one side, it sounds like. We don't know who it'll be, but.
Yeah, less than 4 weeks away. It's nice when you get the media out there. You can kind of they get to watch, they get to talk to the players. It feels like it's really soon, man. Going to be happening soon.
Chester, like it or lump it, as my mom used to say, Ethan Downs, whatever you want to say about his production on the field, it was still better than Bothroyd and Ford. That's a fact last year. He was one of the better edges last year. He wasn't as good as I thought he would be in some games. He was really, really good against Texas. All of them were really good against Texas. But hey, listen, Downs is one of the emotional leaders, heart and soul as well. I promise you he is.
Keaton, I agree. Downs had a great year last year. I mean, when you look on the defensive line, I mean, was he not? I think he's probably the best defensive line.
I said
that's
what I was saying. He wasn't. I said he was way better than Bothroyd and Ford. Jay, I think the question is, do you think Stone and Jackson can be as good as Coe and Lacey? And I think they can be.
Yeah, and listen, Eric, I know Eric's still on here. I'm not bashing Eric for having an opinion. I'm just saying you can't say that they're going to be bad on defensive line just as much as I can't say they're going to be good. Nobody knows at this point. That's the thing when you're dealing with inexperience, nobody knows. I think they're upside, and I think they're going to be really good. That's my opinion.
Oh,
and I think you got a guy like DeJohn Terry that honestly, I think he's going to have a lot better year than he had last year. And I think he's
DeJohn
pretty good
Terry,
last year. I think a lot better.
DeJohn Terry is the guy I think that maybe people are still too low on. And Jay, look, we can sit here and say who it is. I have a hard time thinking that at least David Stone, at least I have a hard time thinking that David Stone won't at least disrupt more plays than those guys. I'm not saying he may be as consistent, but he should disrupt as many plays as those guys did last year.
Hey, real quick, and I want to get to this one and then Eric. Tone Loc. Any news of Andrew Anthony? Will he be back? He will be back. I think it's just not yet, but he will be back.
Yes.
Summer, fall, all that. He'll be back. It'll be how does he come back? How good does he come back? That's the thing. Eric, this is kind of an unfair question too, real quick, and then I want to let's get to Mess first. Terry will finally go through multiple offseason workouts at OU. Spring ball will be huge. I agree. And Eric, the question of when have a freshman defensive tackle made major contributions at OU? When was the last time, Eric, they got 5-star? Because
yeah,
I think
that's the point.
Go look at the 24 recruiting class. That's by bar none the best defensive line recruiting class they've had in years. So it's hard to say it when, hey, if they were getting 5 stars, they probably would have been making contributions already, but they hadn't been getting them.
Correct.
Right?
Okie Lawn Guy, it's here. I don't take it off, Okie Lawn Guy. Puka Shell lives forever. As of right now, best they've ever had, Hunter says.
As far as defensive line?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean.
And PJ Adebawore was a 5-star, but he's also an edge and didn't play a whole lot last year. In my opinion, he should have. Even Brent Venables said he should have.
Hey, and nothing against,
hey, going to happen.
Hey, nothing against these guys y'all are mentioning, Tommy Harris, Gerald McCoy. But I will say this too: strength and conditioning in high school is totally different than it used to be.
Not even close.
Some of these guys come in; they're almost ready. That's just I'm telling you what the way it is in high school.
Jay,
some of these high school strength and conditioning programs are unreal.
Also, and how many early enrollees?
They played at IMG, pretty good, talented place they played at. So,
how many early enrollees did they have this year, Jay? In the 20s, okay, 22 or something. They're going to be ready, much more ready than someone maybe in the 1990s would have been stepping on campus. That's the point I think you're trying to make. As long as we have a good coach,
yes, that's a point.
And look, I know there's Sooner fans that are hesitant because we haven't seen a absolute dominant defense in a while. But all the ingredients are there. All the ingredients are there.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I could care less what USC's doing. And I don't care because who did they get last year out of the portal? Remember his name? No one even remembers his name. Bear Alexander?
Yeah.
They didn't win, guys. They won't win. They won't.
Higgs did play some last year. His numbers weren't great, but he played last year as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Keaton says top 40. I'm going for top 30. I think you top 10 offense, top 30 defense, top 40 special teams or whatever. I've been along that as well.
Yeah, a lot of people high. Jeremy, I know you're big time high on Deion Burks. I mean, you are big time on him. Ron says Bronchick wants out of Indian Mice. That leads us to trivia real quick. As we get to trivia, check out the fanstop.com. Go to fanstop.com. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. Sign up for that Shirt of the Month Club. It's awesome. New one coming out in April. Excited about that. Be a part of that. Here's the trivia question for the night. When was the last time Oklahoma women's basketball made it out of the first weekend, made it to the Sweet 16? When was the last year they did that? Might be a little surprising. Man, they seem to fall in the 4 or 5 category every year in the same seed.
Yeah, they do. They lost some games there at the end they shouldn't have, and that cost
There
them
it
a
is,
seeding.
right there. Sooner fan got it. 2013. Good job, Sooner fan. Boom.
Hey, I'll use a phrase here to answer Eric's about Hicks from A&M did nothing. Most don't really contribute. You remember the Players Championship, Jay? Better than most. Better than most. That's Stone and Jackson, in my opinion. Again, it's my opinion. Jay, Colin, I think it was, put something on here about, Josh Isosa has been said to be working at center. You got to think it's Everett and Bates going for the starting job. I don't think Isosa gets in on what?
Are you a little surprised that Brooks hasn't worked at center? Or?
Sounds like Brooks has been mainly guard, Jay. I am a little bit surprised, but here's the deal. I've been pretty hard on Everett. Everett's gained some weight. The reason I've been hard on Everett, I said
now. You backtracking?
No, the reason I've been hard on Everett, I said, is I thought he was really, really not strong enough to play that. But he's put on a lot of weight. They said he's all in. He does have experience. I don't know. Maybe he does get the job instead of Bates, Jay.
Who knows? What's up, Dominique? Thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing good. People mad at Sooner fan thinking he's spamming the trivia. Yeah, Jackson. That's correct. Correct.
What's correct? What do you mean he's correct? What are you talking about?
Bobby, he guessed every year, Hunter. Hey, Bobby, I don't.
What do you mean Jackson's correct?
I thought I saw something come through there that I agreed with. I can't find it now.
He said Brooks is a summer enrollee.
Ethan Downs.
No, that's EPL. That's EPL.
I think he was saying meaning EPL. Yes.
Oh, he said Brooks, and you agreed, so I was just making sure.
Well, I thought I missed
Brooks.
It. My bad.
Brooks and Fabechi are competing for the job.
Brooks is that dude.
He's going to be a guard. I'm actually leaning,
size-wise ready.
I lost you. You were lagging, so I didn't know you were talking. Go ahead, Jay.
No, you're good.
I was just saying, I think Heath Azida, he's kind of been the forgotten dude.
When you look at it, gosh, when did he come on the show? Was he in high school still? I think he was. It's been a while. And there was high hope for him. And now he's got second year with Bill Beatenbow. I think he might be the guy at that position. I think he might win the job.
Let me ask you something, Jay. Is there any chance that Bill Beatenbow goes with a 2 deep on the O-line?
No. Why I think you got to go 5 and play those 5.
Well, I only say it because let me just say this for a second.
Good point.
Eugene Brooks. Eugene Brooks, Jay, what he is lifting strength-wise is phenomenal for a freshman.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal for people going to pro day. But you also have the experience of Fabechi, and you think there's at least a chance that maybe a guy comes in and spells a guy for a series, keeps him fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know, something to ponder. And Jay, Garen Hatchett still has a boot on, they said. So
what about Sexton? Mike's asking, where do you think he ends up? Starter?
I think Sexton's competing for the starting tackle job, Jay.
I agree. And Ricky, this is a good point and something I want to talk about. He says his progress changes a lot. And that's my point about young guys on defensive line, all this stuff. Nobody knows if guys go out there and just tear it up as freshmen and all of a sudden you're sitting there, well, this defensive line is really good. I mean, so nobody knows, just like on offensive line. The question mark, bar none, on offense has been the offensive line, right? I think everybody knows the tight end room is going to be way better. It's going to be way better. Offensive line is just nobody knows because they don't have a whole lot of experience there. But like Ricky says, his progress changes a lot of things. Some of these guys step up and play really good. It changes a lot of things, man.
Yeah, and hey, SEC covering Seth Luttrell offense is what Moose. Was there another point to that, Moosehead? Jay Jones says the O-line has had a gel issue for a few years now. Hopefully we got the kinks worked out after 3 games. I agree that I think they should stick with one. I just raised that question because they do have some depth there.
Hey, I'm going to go on a hot take here and say leading touchdown receiver with the most touchdown catches this year is going to be Bauer Sharp, tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on Bauer Sharp.
I think they're going to use the tight end a ton on offense. I really do.
Well, I think so as well, Jay. I think so as well. I also think that
you've watched a lot of Luttrell's offenses. That hotter take is BT. I don't know what you're saying, Hunter.
Brennan Thompson, maybe. Jay,
maybe.
Helms apparently does look really good physically, but I
think it might just be a year before he gets a ton of play. I think he'll play.
Jay, it also sounds like dadgummit. Devon Mitchell looked pretty special, but there was something else I was going to mention, and I just lost my Jaden Rowe at least looks healthy.
He always looks the part. He always looks the part when he's healthy.
He's not going to be able to get on the field.
Hey, Okalongai, here's a question. How deep in the playoffs does OU have to make it next season for OU fans? Make the playoffs.
In the playoffs, awesome. That's it.
Make the playoffs. First year of the SEC with that schedule they got, make the playoffs. Yeah, that'd be great.
Grant Calcaterra was better. He's in the NFL.
I agree with that.
Farouk will have more TDs, Mark.
You guys have already heard. I've said it that I think Farouk's going to have his best years of his career at Oklahoma this year. I know Jeremy hates that.
Yeah. Hey, Colin, I saw that exact thing. Yeah. That Deshaun McCullough has mostly worked at linebacker.
Surprise you, Jeremy?
Look, nothing surprised me, but it does, again, illustrate OU needs to be playing a lot of guys next year. Period.
Yeah, but I also think there's going to be situations where they can play 3 linebackers and not they can do. So,
yes. The wide receiver room is stacked. Absolutely stacked. And you got a slinger who can coach. And you got a slinger who can sling it.
Yeah, it looked pretty good on that football tape, didn't he?
Absolutely. Something else I saw, and Ricky says, how do they get him to the field? Yeah, that's going to be a question. I don't know.
Who? McCullough?
Yeah. Obviously, Nick Anderson sat out practice as well, they said. Nick Anderson and Anthony. I think John Hoover talked that Jaquez Petaway looked really good. Looked special out there.
Hey, Hookem, O-line is pretty weak. I think the question is O-line is inexperienced. I don't think anybody knows if it's weak or not weak. Nobody knows.
No one knows. They're deep. They're inexperienced. They have size. And someone mentioned the defensive tackle size, Jay, at 290. Yeah. Not many 290. Listen, Jackson will be 300 by the first game. And David Stone will probably be 298. So there you are.
Yeah, has great potential to be great. I remember the same being said with the 3-5 stars who flamed out. Yeah. And don't forget, there's been OU offensive lines in the offseason that people thought weren't going to be great, ended up being really dang good. So I think we'll just see. I think the jury's out.
Colin, I saw a report that said that, Colin, but I also saw another report. I saw another report that had Keltner and Liam Evans were both 3 for 3. So I don't know which one was correct, but they're 6 for 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. Got to gel. I think that was part of the problem last year. The O-line didn't really get gelling till late in the season. When they did, they were pretty good. It just took them a while. And let's be honest, Savion Byrd, him not being very good last year kind of hurt him. I mean, they were banking a lot on him, I think, being really good.
Absolutely, Jay. And there were a lot of people not impressed with the O-line last year, but if you look at the numbers, they didn't allow that many sacks, and they really got the ground game going the last 6 games of the year. Okie Lawn Guy. Listen, in SEC country, if you can make the playoffs, that means you're in the top 4 of the SEC. With OU schedule, that's special next year. And I expect them to be 9-3 and in the playoffs.
Hey, there's not a whole lot to talk about OU hoops. Otega Oweh entered the portal. And not surprising, and won't be the last one, probably.
You're right, Maz. I want to see the RPO end as well, at least not be the dominant part of the offense.
No, you have to have it, but don't do it as much. I agree.
I think Colin's dropping these from Twitter. This is basically what maybe George Stoya was tweeting out today with Sooner Scoop. Some of these things, so appreciate you dropping those. But these are what George Stoya was saying. Yeah, Woody playing everywhere.
Well, he said when he came back, that was one of the reasons he wanted to come back was to play inside more and play different positions. So that's not surprising.
Peyton Bowen plays safety. That's his primary position. Maybe in a backup role. Maybe on the field 20% of the time.
You think Bowen's on the field 20% of the time?
Maybe 30%. I don't think more than that, Jay.
I think he needs to be playing more than that.
Over who, Jay?
I don't care, Jeremy. He's really good.
I'm asking. Hunter, if you're going to say 50%, who's coming off 50%?
What about RSJ?
Well, I thought you guys both said you were high on RSJ.
I am, but I'm high on Peyton Bowen too.
I would be okay with Peyton Bowen. I'd be okay with them splitting time, RSJ and Peyton Bowen.
Peyton Bowen made plays when he played last year. When he was healthy.
It was hard to tell. It was hard to tell.
I'm not the coach, though. I'm not going to say a number and how long they should be in there. I'm not a coach.
Hey, Kenai Walker was great in relief last year, and according to George Story today, don't forget about him.
Hunter, another reason why I said I like the 3 men, because I think you get other guys on the field. Because think about it. Instead of you having last year, you had Bothroyd, Downs, and the 2 inside guys. One of those comes off the field, you get an extra skill guy that can either blitz. I mean, look what Dolby did last year blitzing, man. Otega's leaving, Okie Lawn guy. He's out.
I don't know if they wanted him in Norman anymore.
I don't think he's testing waters. I think he's out.
Jay, did they want him in Norman anymore?
Well, based off the season,
did Moser process Otega way out?
Jeremy, based on the season, he benched him. So I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't think he's back either. He honestly regressed. Had a phenomenal first 4 or 5 games that everyone thought.
It's one of those things where if he needs to go find a new home, just like Mess says, a new scenery will help him a lot. I think he could be a really good player. I do.
I've gone all night.
Top 100
I've gone all night and not mention it.
What?
I'm going to go a whole night and not mention it. You going to be proud of me?
Mention what?
Not going to mention it, Jay.
Mention what? Porter Moser?
Not going to do it. Hey,
whatever it is you're not mentioning, you just mentioned it. By mentioning it.
Under Riley, OU barely had 3 defensive backs. Yeah, they're undersized. It was pathetic. I love the secondary room. Absolutely love it.
See, you mentioned it, Jeremy. Way to go. You do it every time. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you did. That's what you just did.
I didn't mention it.
You knew the people would say something. So that's why you did it.
They knew what I was talking about.
As a quote from you, you're absolutely ridiculous. That's what you are.
Porter, it's funny that you went absolutely ridiculous. I just say you're absolutely ridiculous. You had to go air quotes, which actually means I'm not. Thanks for playing. Hey.
I did that because that is your saying. That's my
Porter Moser. Yeah,
air quotes.
Porter Moser.
Do you know what quotes mean?
I know what quotes mean. You're doing air quotes.
These are quotes. Quotes by Jeremy. Absolutely ridiculous.
Air quotes, Jay. They're in the air, buddy. Wow.
Do you want me to write it down? Jeez.
Hey, newsflash. Ron says Moser wants out of the SEC. Listen, Porter Moser, if he's not top 5 in the SEC, done next year.
Ricky thinks Jacoby might start. Man, they got a lot of depth.
Bobby, we didn't specifically talk about Elite 11 and picking up the invite. No. We talked a little bit about him going to Texas.
Chances of Sperry getting a 5th star, percentage-wise.
50.
60%.
50%. 50%. Yeah, SEC's pretty weak.
It's not weak, but it's not nearly as tough as Big 12.
I was so happy for Kelvin Sampson. So happy for Kelvin Sampson last night.
They had 4 guys foul out. I didn't know if they were going to make it through.
I was so happy for him.
Hunter's right. A lot of it depends on the Elite 11 in the senior year. Jackson says 20%. Why did Sperry transfer to Denton Guyer? His mom was still living in the Dallas area, working. So it's better for their family, and he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He's not decommitting from OU or nothing. And honestly, it's going to be better for him. He's going to get really good competition. It's really going to help him. I think. You know what? They might have thought, let's go to Carl Albert. And guys, if you watch Carl Albert last year, they're going to destroy everybody. That's what they did.
Yes. I mean, they're not going to play.
So they don't play a whole lot of talent. I mean, a whole lot of great teams. So this will be good for Kevin Sperry.
Yep. Now Sooners have an in Texas recruiter that's permanent right now, and Kevin Sperry. So,
let me ask this question. Is there too much put on these camps for ratings, star ratings? Because I feel like a lot of the ratings, I feel like a lot of the ratings come from camps more than they do the actual games they play in high school.
It's this way in every sport, and I'm against it. AAU basketball, soccer, volleyball. No one watches high school sports anymore. They go to the club games. They go watch these kids play 7-on-7. It's unbelievable.
Let me play a little bit devil's advocate, though. Is there better competition at those things than they are some of these high school teams?
It's not the same.
I'm just saying, is there better competition? If you can see Danny Okoye against one of those guys compared to at Noah, I'm just saying, does that matter?
Oh, you're talking about Danny Okoye at Noah. Listen, I don't care. I want to see the people play football.
And Stubby says, absolutely true, because the quality of high school ball can vary widely. Going against each other is where they give the ratings.
But 7-on-7 drills, Jay, it's not the same.
That's right, Bobby. If you don't
passing
do it, you have to. Jeremy, I'm against you on this one. I'm
shocked, Jay.
Shocker, huh?
Yeah, shocker. You're against me. Ron, Sperry wants out of Carl Albert. You need a shirt. Ron, you need a shirt with all these different things.
Let me say something about high school, too. The high school football world, basketball world, all of it. The new thing is you don't really have to. You can pretty much transfer, right? So I see a lot of people putting stuff like, I'm moving to this area. I'm going to go to another school. You can go wherever you want now. You don't need to say that. Just go wherever you want to go. I mean,
yeah, I wish. Yeah, I mean, names matter. Unfortunately, names matter.
What about? Yeah, it does. Yeah, Ron shirts.
Well, listen up, guys. Quick update on Dad. I know because people always ask. Monty asks a lot. We do covet and appreciate the prayers from the Surgeaholics. He's probably about 2 weeks from going home, or us having to figure out what care looks like. So, again, maybe someone out there in Surgeaholicville knows some contact information or can point us to some places. We're willing to call. He is going to need some care, and but it is good news that he's progressing in that way, not as roller coaster it's kind of leveling out as far as not having as many ups and downs. So thanks. Appreciate the prayers. Appreciate everyone that watches every single night, Jay. This is again, the Elite 11 someone mentioned, Sperry going to. This is the Elite 95 or 108 or whatever. Appreciate y'all. Keaton, he just he'll be at his house. We're just going to need 24/7 caregiver, and maybe even not that. We've got some other arrangements, just some kind of in-home person to basically sit with them and, you know, get food for them and do some basic care needs. But yeah, that it would be ridiculous if you're not following the Sooner Surge. We've been going since October 30th. We've missed 2 days. We're grinding. Appreciate it. Hey, Keaton, I'm going to ask you a favor, if you would. ousportsroundup@gmail.com. If you could send maybe some connections or contact information, appreciate that. ousportsroundup@gmail.com. Appreciate you all. Love it on here every single night. We'll see you guys on the flip side tomorrow on Tuesday for a terrific Tuesday. Boomer.